The Queen of Granada, by M. Riff. Chapter 81, Rosan. The girl led them to the partially open sliding door of the VW bus, effortlessly climbing inside. Tessa had to push the door aside to peek in. As soon as they saw the woman inside, her head covered with a towel, face down in a bucket, they hurried into the van and closed the door behind them. They settled on the edge of the seats around a small table across the woman. Rita asked in an apologetic tone, "We came to ask about your husband. He took off with the Land Rover." Without removing the towel from her head, the woman replied, "It's not the first time. It has happened before. Usually, he disappears with the Land Rover, for a couple of days, and then he turns up again." She lifted the corner of the towel, casting a brief glance at them and asked, "Who are you?" Tessa became startled by the woman's bloodshot eye. She hesitated but extended her hand and said softly, "I'm Tessa." The woman wasn't in the mood for handshakes and quickly covered her face again. Given her distressing condition, Rita felt it was unnecessary to introduce herself. Instead, she explained, "We're passengers from the bus to Granada. It was about to plunge off the bridge, and your husband tried to rescue it." The woman responded, "Sounds like Tobar." After a moment, she asked, "I didn't catch your name." Rita replied, "I'm Rita." The woman, as if speaking to herself, said, "Ah, I remember you from the other day." Confused, Rita inquired, "What do you mean?" The woman couldn't provide a lengthy explanation. Her daughter, who had been observing them, chimed in, "That's because my mom is psychic." In a weakened voice, the woman added, "You've already met my daughter Nuria. I'm Rosan, and there's my son Pal." Rita turned to look at the boy sitting in the back of the van, engrossed in his homework. He reminded her of one of the boys in her class who always seemed to know everything. He was often teased by the hyperactive boys who were quick with the trigger but lacked something useful between the ears to shoot. Rita couldn't help but imagine that the less intelligent individuals would have smaller heads with larger mouths if nature hadn't provided humans with a skull. Nuria had climbed back onto the rocking chair and was swinging her feet. She gazed at her mom and said in a displeased tone, "But Mom, I saw it in my head. Dad fell down." Tessa smiled at the little girl and said to her mother, "Your daughter mentioned you're a medicine woman." "I'm studying psychology, and my child's psychology professor recently talked about how kids often mimic their mothers. Nuria seems to be following in your footsteps."